All right, so this is a video about picking, I guess a topic called pick slanting. So I never even heard of pick slanting until I was watching a Rodney Jones video, and Rodney's a phenomenal jazz guitarist, and I just got interested in, he has these long videos. I think things are like 45 minutes of him playing with a backing track. Really, really fascinated by it. Somehow I took a detour and just started looking at picking techniques and reading about them. And growing up, I played a lot with the pick. When I played with the pick, it was always more about the size of the pick, the thickness of the pick, not so much about picking technique, because I saw so many different picking techniques and materials being used. There are guys who would put their fingers here. There are people who were free floaters, and we didn't have cameras the way they have cameras now on YouTube to be able to kind of break down people's picking technique. Uh, let's just put it this way, it always looked like it was individual, and I always said that if somebody was a fast picker, that amounted to the fact that they just had some natural uncanny ability. So there's a guy on the internet, Troy Grady, who is, I think the guy's a mad scientist, and so I call him the picking expert. Yeah, if he has like a PhD in picking, let's put it that way. He breaks down everybody from flat pickers to Doc Watson to metal guys, Yngwie Malmsteen, great players like, oh God, Eric Johnson. So he talks about this, but one thing I became fascinated was really about pick slanting. Like, I kind of do it, and I think probably a lot of people do it, they just are not aware of it. So the terminology just refers to the direction that the pick is. Usually, and most people, when they learn to play, it's flat picking, and it's not flat picking as opposed to like the country flat picking. By flat picking, even the word flat picking just denoted people who play with their fingers versus with a pick. When I said flat picking, I mean straight picking. So let's just take this like this. When you pick, you typically will go, and all I'm doing right now is I'm on the E, F sharp, G. Okay, so that's flat picking, or I should say straight picking. There's no angling of the pick either way. Okay, now what pick slanting is intended to do is that when you are transferring from one string to another, like there's no problem if you're doing like straight picking, which is no angling either up or down, and you're playing one string. So you can go. Now the problem becomes when you want to transfer from one string to another. So as you pick this thing, it always ends up in between the string. So if I want to go to another string, I literally have to do what a lot of guitarists do, and you'd probably do it subconsciously, which is string hopping. Okay, it's almost like jumping for another. Okay, now what pick slanting does is you slant your pick either way, and it's a way to kind of avoid it. And so I'll show it to you in this way. Right, so straight picking, you can see over here in my case, it's pretty easy to see that none of my other fingers are touching the strings whatsoever. So I'm picking just like a. Now if I want to slant the pick, I go slightly over here. If I want to do it so that's slanted downwards. If I want to slant it upwards, it's like this. See, it's not straight and it's not down, so it's like. Now I found out that I looked at some of my other videos and I kind of broke down my own picking technique. I tend to do a lot of pick slanting upwards, but if I'm gonna do what do you call those things? Sweeps. Obviously, when you do a sweep, that's a perfect example. If I'm doing a sweep of a major 7 arpeggio, you'll see the slant goes like this. So basically, it's the rotation of your wrist directionally. That's the easiest way to explain pick slanting. So, for example, I'll play a couple of lines. That's a E minor 7 sort of scale, right? So if you want to pick slanting down, you'll see coming down this way. Pick slanted up. And you don't pick slant up just because you're going up. I have a tendency to be a pick slanting upwards kind of guy, because I'll show you, like in this case, like I'm going down, but I'm pick slanted up this time. Um, anyway, so I just found that this was an interesting topic, and I kind of play like this a little bit. I think everybody does some level of pig slanting. They just don't call it pig slanting. They just are unaware of it, and usually people just learn something based upon it helping them navigate the instrument, and they sort of do it intuitively. They don't break it down, and I'm trying to break down some of my playing. Thank you, and hope this helps.